Am I the asshole for refusing to apologize for a childhood diary and getting angry my privacy was violated? I, 25 female, took in my dad, stepmom and stepbrother while they were getting some major repairs done on their home. During the time they were with me, my stepsister, 22 female, was there to see them. She decided to snoop in my home. My dad and stepmom let her. She found an old diary I had and read it. She got upset by the contents of it, mostly because I wrote about how I hated having her in my life when my dad first married her mom and saying she was annoying and bratty and I wished she could live with her dad out of state. All of this was written in a diary when I was 10. She freaked out on me when I got home. I asked her who gave her permission to look through my stuff. My dad told me to calm down. I told him they should have stopped her. My stepmom went nuts saying it was horrible that I ever wished her daughter was sent away. It got a little nuts between us all. My stepsister demanded an apology for the stuff she read. I told her I was the person owed an apology because she went into my private space uninvited and snooped through my stuff. She told me it didn't matter because she uncovered something that deserved to be uncovered. I told her it was that kind of attitude I didn't like about her back then. This set the three of them off at me and I ended up telling the three of them to leave. My stepbrother wanted to stay with me but his mom wouldn't let him. They have since reached out asking me to apologize. I stand firm in not apologizing and being the one who is owed an apology. Am I the asshole?
Not the asshole. Your stepsister basically just proved that 10-year-old you was correct and a very astute judge of character.
Not the asshole. Gosh, you were 10. And they violated your privacy, they should apologize you.
Not the asshole. This is crazy. It's very immature to flip out over something that happened 15 years ago. Even more so given that you were a child. I'm amazed that they ask for an apology after going through your private diary. The nerve of some people. Nope, you're not the asshole here. They violated your privacy. You're the victim here. You can acknowledge their apologies without accepting them, but please remember that the best apology is changed behavior.
Not the asshole. Your step family, minus the brother, sound like a bunch of self-involved drama queens. Good for you. Refusing to apologize. Not the asshole. You should apologize. I'm sorry that stepsis is an awful person, and that by her snooping, shows she is an awful person. I'm sorry that my generosity resulted in your feelings being hurt over private thoughts a 10-year-old had during the Bush administration. Quote.
Not the asshole, and you don't have to explain, justify, or apologize for your thoughts and emotions as a child. Reading someone else's diary is a gross violation.
Not the asshole. I will not apologize for writing down my private thoughts as a 10-year-old when my whole life was changing and I was still grieving my mother. What stepsis did by snooping, and the fact that you let her, has however broken my trust in you all as adults. Neither of you will be welcome back until I feel I can trust you again. Step bro is cool though. Not the asshole at all. You were 10 when you wrote that. She violated your privacy and is demanding an apology for something you wrote 15 years ago when you likely just had your life appended. NTA. She snooped. If she got her feelings hurt, it's her own damn fault. Not the asshole. They violated your privacy with no remorse. It's their problem they didn't like what they found.
Not the asshole. You were 10 when you wrote that. And diaries journals are supposed to be a safe place for people to vent their thoughts, feelings, frustrations, etc. She came in your home, and invaded your privacy. The only one who deserves an apology is you. Not the asshole. You were right to kick them out and honestly, I would not speak to any of them unless they plan to apologize.
Not the asshole. You have nothing to apologize for. People who invade other people's privacy don't get to be indignant when they discover something they don't like. People who break the laws of hospitality, i.e. don't snoop among a host's private belongings, don't get to demand an apology for being called to account. They deserve to be kicked out. Good for you. Not the asshole. First, you were 10. How immature of them to be blowing this out of proportion because you were 10. And how nice of you to let them all come invade your space. Second, the BH snooped and found something she didn't like. Damn right she should apologize. And they all should, at this point, for their reactions. Third, even if you had written it yesterday, they took advantage of your generosity and invaded your privacy. It isn't like you posted it on Facebook or something. You are entitled to your opinion and writing whatever you like to yourself. Seems like you were right back then.
Not the asshole. If you snoop in other people's privacy just cause you can, you don't really have a lot of room to claim hurt feelings.
Not the asshole. Basically your 22 years old stepsister just proved she hasn't evolved much in the 15 years since you wrote the diary. Your dad and stepmom are also Oz for taking her side and allowing it to happen. By the way, when I was around 10, I tried to sell my actual biological sister for 50 cents. I'm not kidding. I now love my sister and we are constantly texting. We both grew up and moved on from things done when we were kids.
Not the asshole. A diary is your private thoughts, not something meant to be shared. If you have the incredibly bad manners to snoop into someone's private journal and don't like what you read, that's too bad. Everyone else are assholes, except SB. The fact that guests in your home allowed someone else to go into your private area and allow them to snoop around is the grossest violation of your privacy. The fact that they excused it and want an apology for your private thoughts is disgusting. I would never let back in your home. They can't be trusted and don't deserve that privilege.
Not the asshole. They want an apology for something you wrote when you were 10. After going through your things. If she's that offended you didn't like her over 10 years ago, I'd imagine she hasn't changed much since then. Good grief, even my own siblings annoyed me some days, but I'm not over here apologizing to them for having feelings as a child. Especially after that much time has passed.
So, what's their endgame here? Apologize to us, so we can stay with you again.
Not the asshole. I hate overdramatic people. I hate people who look for excuses to be offended. And I hate people who invade someone else's privacy. Your family is all three. Continue standing firm, op. Not the asshole. Stepsis is 110% in the wrong. How about, I'm sorry you hurt your feelings?
Not the asshole. Your privacy was violated and you don't have to apologize for your diary. Your stepsister owes you an apology for violating your privacy and her parents for allowing it.
You are not the awe. Your stepsister is the asshole for snooping, and so is anyone else that takes her side. You do not owe them an apology, especially after you gave them an explanation of how you were 10 when you wrote in your diary. Your stepsister, being 22, overstepped by a lot. She's 22 and snooping around people's personal belongings like that? I skipped over that detail and assumed this would have been a younger teen or so throughout the reading. That's child's behavior.
Not the asshole. All of these people are insane, oh my god. It's a diary of a 10-year-old FFS. You were and still are entitled to your private thoughts. The fact that this is the hill they're choosing to die on and go rabid over speaks volumes about how right your judgment of them as a child was. You're complete not the asshole, and if I were you, I'd be the one expecting an apology. I need to sit down, lol.
Not the asshole. She just proved you right. The fact that your own father allowed this is ridiculous. Who goes into someone's home and looks through their stuff? That's so wrong.
Not the asshole. Feel so sorry for you, and stepbrother sounds like he gets his as the ass here, and so are parents. Not the asshole. You were doing them a huge favor and they violated your privacy. They owe you an apology. Keep in touch with your brother. The rest don't seem worth it. Not the asshole. You were a child when you wrote that, and those are very real and expected feelings for any child gaining a step-family. You are also correct that it was your private diary and they had no right to read it. Even if you wrote those things as an adult, you are entitled to your private thoughts, and they opened the can of worms by invading your privacy. Not the asshole at all. And it's obvious to me why you must have felt that way about her back then.
Not the asshole. So your stepsister snoops in your room, reads your diary, finds out you didn't like her when you were 10, and demands an apology for shit you wrote 15 years ago? Hell no. Do not apologize. 10-year-old you was correct.
I had an ex do something very similar. To say that what they did was a gross invasion of privacy is an understatement. Not the asshole, not the asshole, not the asshole. Your family is gaslighting you. You are owed the apology.
Absolutely not the asshole. A diary is a safe space for someone to let out their thoughts without hurting people. But a good release for you, the writer. And 10-year-old you, wow, how can they ask you to apologize? It should be her to say sorry for acting like a child and snooping. Stand firm on this one.
Not the asshole, you were fucking 10. If a 10-year-old says, "Oh, I hate my stepfamily," the sane human response is to sit them down, be patient, and hope it works out, and it usually does. Also, don't back down. It might sound silly in the long run, but it'll give them precedent to treat you like a doormat. Your goodwill, generosity, and privacy were discarded. Don't hold a grudge forever, but I would not apologize if I were you.
Not the asshole. You are never in a hole for expressing your thoughts in a private diary. You never expressed those feelings out loud. She never would have found out if she hasn't been a mass of a hole. If anyone owes an apology, it's your dad, stepmother and stepsister.
Not the asshole. You were 10. You didn't do anything. She wants an apology for your feelings? Like holy hell, what is going on here? What exactly do they want you to apologize for, being a 10-year-old still grieving the loss of a parent and not liking how things have changed? For not liking a step-sibling? Which can happen with biological siblings too. You took your family in as a kindness to them, and not only did they violate that kindness, they defended the violation, and essentially want to punish a 10-yo for feelings.
Not the asshole. You were 10. The diary was not meant to be shared with anyone. The bar is lower. It's not like you wrote about how you disposed of her pet dog, Mr. Fluffykins, in the old quarry or something.
Not the asshole. Your dad is the biggest asshole in the group. He should have shut it down before it ever got started. You deserve several apologies.
Not the asshole. She snooped around in your home. The home that you own. Nah, don't apologize. You are very much not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Snooping through your personal stuff and reading your diaries is an absolute no-go. The whole purpose of a diary is to write down things you think but have no one to tell, and that is good because you can order things in your mind. You should demand an apology from all of them because what your stepsister did and your parents let happen was a major breach of boundaries and privacy. And no, your thoughts from 15 years ago aren't something that deserve to be uncovered except maybe to prove that they are still accurate. Not the asshole. 10-year-old. You knew what was up. You're entitled to your privacy in your own home, and her breaching that was on her.
Invasion of privacy, and they're offended. Yay, show 'em the door.
NTA. Fuck. All. Of. Them. Except your step-bro, he doesn't sound bad.
Not the asshole. 10-year-old. You was proven right. She's was a brat then and she's a brat now. You have nothing to apologize for. The stepsister should be apologizing for going through your room. Just ignore them until they see what she did was rude.
NTA. It's a childhood diary, not an entry written 2 days ago. She absolutely does owe you an apology for going through your personal things and violating your privacy. No one's diary should be used against them decades after they wrote. People grow and change all the time, and a journal will reflect that. Her going ape on you for something written years ago is ridiculous. I wouldn't blame you for cutting ties. All of them. Not the asshole. Those were the private thoughts of a child over a decade ago. You were entitled to that privacy then, and you are now. They need to get over it and respect your personal space. Do not apologize.
Not the asshole. No wonder you don't like her.
Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Your privacy was violated. They're even holding words you said a decade ago over your head. You owe them nothing.